Hi there, everyone, and good morning. This is my inspiration for the day, my guidepost, something just to set you on your way to make you feel happier about being you and about getting out there and being yourself in the world, even though you're not of it. And it's called Leaving the Past Behind. I wrote it a couple of days ago after a meeting with on here actually with the Zoom call, and I was so inspired by the conversation that we had that sadly wasn't recorded because I hadn't pressed the right buttons when I was setting up the January meetings. I wrote this, so this is like some of the joy that you missed. I'm sorry, because I didn't press the record button on the Zoom meeting, and it's called Leaving the Past Behind. Your power no longer abdicated. Your time to rule has come. You're called as a creator to reign magnificent. Unlike this world's sovereigns who take control by fear, yours will be a kingdom hallmarked by the love that shall appear. You must let go of thinking small, of kowtowing to lesser men. You must see yourself as glorious, adorned in beauty fair. Your universe, the one you create, must leave the past behind when you saw yourself as helpless, when you were led by those still blind. Your life's potential is immeasurable. Your abilities undiscovered are. The vibrancy, elation, and joy of your passions were meant to take you far. Love has given you the upper hand of ascendance and control. You now are an example of a life that's lived from the soul. Unfortunately, in our world, there are pervading forces that would have you believe that you're nothing really that special, that you're just an also-ran. You know, when they read out the racing results many years ago when I was a boy, waiting for the football results to come on, and they'd give the racing results of all the horses that had been running, and it would say, number one in this particular race at Kempton Park, number one, the winner was, number two, number three, and 22 also ran. You don't want to be an also ran, but that's how society seems to define those who aren't in the media spotlight. But in actual fact, there is something different happening all the while. It's not new, it's been there all along, but there's something in the undercurrent of human history that love always wins in the end. If you remember when the terrible 9/11 happened, when the planes went into the towers, they were making calls. The people on the planes were making calls, and they weren't speaking about hate. They weren't speaking about trying to rule the world or all the things that were wrong and what they were going to protest about. They were speaking about love. They were ringing the people important to them in their lives, and they were telling them that they loved them, because that is the best of us. That is the best of humanity. And in this poem, I'm intending to draw to your attention the fact that the most powerful stuff in the whole of the universe, well, certainly in our world, probably true throughout the universe. It's like they say, don't they, the scientists, that the periodic table of elements is the same wherever you are in the universe. Well, I also believe that love is the constant, the highest form of expression of consciousness ever is love. And I think most of the people watching this probably will be of that opinion too, or else you wouldn't be watching it. But that we have a sacred duty to reign supreme and sovereign in our own lives through love. that we are creators with a small c, and that as creators, we are in charge of our own universe. We might not be able to affect the larger world of men and women, but we can affect the people that we come into contact with if we are someone who rules in our own lives by love. And that's what the poem is challenging us to do. It's not just, the poem was written by me, but if I point at you, there's three fingers pointing back at me. So in this particular poem, we're asking you to think about those who rule not by love, but by fear, and that those people who are doing that are lesser people than you. The media has made them out to be supermen and superwomen, and we've got to listen to them. But the point is, don't kowtow to them anymore, because in your kingdom, the kingdom of love, Jesus talks about the kingdom of heaven is within you, and the kingdom of love is within you. You don't need to look outside yourself. You don't need to read the history books to find out what's the best of mankind, or the newspapers, or the TV news. You don't need to watch any of that. You need to listen to your own heart. What act of love could you do today? What acts of love could you do today to make this a better world, to make the lives of those that you know, that you have contact with, better? What kind word could you say? How could you rule in people's hearts with love? How could you change their opinions about themselves? How can you make them feel like they are, as you are and I am, much, much more than just an also-ran? We are all beautiful creations of source energy. We all have individuated. We're individuals. We've come here to show love, to be love, to be remembered for the love that we've poured out into the world through the life force that we've been given by source energy. So I'm going to read my poem again, and then I'm going to end the broadcast. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I can only ask you, I can only suggest to you that today, that you at least make one, do one thing that you wouldn't have done normally to show love in this world. It's a dark world. There's all kinds of horrible things happening out there, and your love will shine out in the darkness, and people will be drawn to the light. Leaving the past behind, your power no longer abdicated. Your time to rule has come. You're called as a creator to reign magnificent. Unlike this world's sovereigns who take control by fear, yours will be a kingdom hallmarked by the love that shall appear. You must let go of thinking small, of kowtowing to lesser men. You must see yourself as glorious, adorned in beauty fair. Your universe, the one you create, must leave the past behind. When you saw yourself as helpless, when you were led by those still blind. Your life's potential is immeasurable. Your abilities undiscovered are. The vibrancy, elation, and joy of your passions were meant to take you far. Love has given you the upper hand of ascendance and control. You now are an example of a life that's lived from the soul. Namaste.